Vicki Doolan is a dementia communication specialist and a trainer in a variety of dementia-related programs. She is also a natural juice therapist, a trainer in the Ageless Grace Brain Health Program, and an older person's mental health first aid trainer. Vicki's also passionate about the power of essential oils for emotional support and runs a variety of educational workshops that empower people to live a healthier life. Vicki believes that no matter how old we are, it's never too late to begin our health journey. Thank God for that. Scientists now know that we continue to create new neurons right up until the day we die, so there's no reason to ever stop learning and doing. Brain health is a major concern as we age, so one of Vicki's favourite brain supporting activities is play. Yes, play. It's proven to not only slow cognitive decline, but also often improves cognition. And as George Bernard Shaw once said, very wise man, we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Yeah, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show, Vicki. It's lovely to have you here. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for inviting me, Deb. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
A nice conversation.
Yeah, totally. So what was it that got you interested in dementia in the first place?
I actually probably fell into the dementia world, really. I was studying to be a juice therapist at the time because I saw that could benefit health so much. And then I began the Ageless Grace program. I trained in Ageless Grace, the brain health exercise program, really just to supplement my income while I was studying. And it's just such an amazing, fun program that I fell in love with it. And of course, being the program that it is, it took me into aged care facilities. It had me working with older people, with seniors. I even have done work in secure dementia units quite a bit with the Ageless Grace program. And the power of the connection through that program was what just drew me in, and everything evolved from there. I did more training in different dementia programs, and the most recent one last year was dementia communication.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And I believe that you're one of like 6 facilitators in Australia, is that right?
So for the Ageless Grace Brain Health Program, there's actually 6 trainers in Australia. We've got about 120, 130 educators who are running the program, but some of those are people who actually work in aged care, so they'll do the program within their own facility. And then there's a few, just do it for themselves independently. Like I do, I'll go into aged care facilities and run the programs for them. Yeah.
Right, but they're not only just for people who have dementia or who are at risk of having dementia. Who is it for?
It's for everybody. It's for absolutely everybody. So we even have the Ageless Grace program is even rebranded for children. So we have the Forever Fits for Kids program, which is Ageless Grace, only it's done in the children's style of things. So different music, different type, different play. So it's for everybody, because it's so, even though, people in middle age might feel that their brains are still sharp, they're still working, they're on a computer or whatever, they're learning every day. But this is actually different ways of working the brain. So it actually works the 5 primary functions of the brain. So no matter what level of cognition you are, even if you're just 4 years old and you're still forming neural pathways, or if you're 90, my oldest client's 99, and
wow.
He still comes along and still moves, and still trying different things. And it's just that engagement, that connection. It's really stimulating different parts of the brain, no matter how old we are.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, like I've noticed as I've gotten older that, you know, sometimes I can't quite get a word that I'm looking for. Is that something that's, you know, that we have to deal with as we get older, or does your program actually help us to to sort of improve that function and help us to maintain, you
Yeah.
know, that sort of brain function?
Yeah, it does help, Deb. It helps in all sorts of areas. Um, Biologically, our brains do shrink as we age, so that's kind of something that's unavoidable, and we will always have some, you know, I don't think anybody needs to go out and stress that they can't remember words and things. It's not, you know, it's some things are a normal part of aging. But what we do in Ages Grace, what the exercises do is really level that out. So there's not this, you know, continual decline. We're trying to maintain good function of the brain in various ways. Yeah. Yep.
Excellent. And I know that there are other factors that are involved in brain health and preventing us from getting dementia. What are some of those? And we will be covering, I think we're going to get you on the show a few more times, but basically, like
Right.
what other things can we do to keep our brains healthy and,
Yeah.
you know?
It's something that we can all do for good health. I think there's some major factors. There's quality sleep. Being able to get a good night's sleep is very, very important for the brain.
Yeah.
Avoiding stress. I mean, stress is responsible for so many, you know, ailments and bad health, but it's also, you know, the brain is involved in all of this. Sleep, stress, exercise, so keeping moving. We need to keep moving. I share quite a few different balance exercises. So Ageless Grace has actually been proven through studies. They've done university studies and they have found that it does improve balance. But there's little things that we can be doing every day that will help us keep good balance as we grow older. So food, rest, nutrition, of course, and you know, that involves things like eating the right fats, the healthy fats, and in actual fact, it's funny because I have given talks with different groups in my time, you know, in all the years, and I actually did a talk on juice therapy for a group of people who had cancer. So it was a cancer support group. And there was a doctor spoke, and the doctor actually, you know, had his little graph, and he said, right, we need food, we need good nutrition, good sleep, meditation is important, you know, avoiding stress, exercise. And he said essential oils are also another important part, you know, of supporting. And I think that's probably on a spiritual basis that really supports us there as well. So all of those things are important. Yeah.
Excellent. And it's really good to know that doctors are actually realizing that essential oils are important, because that's
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I think for a long time we've probably underestimated the value of essential oils. And it even as far as the brain goes, just stimulating the sense of smell has really, you know, it can bring back memories. It's so powerful, you know, the sense of smell. And we can probably do a lot more, like you say, in another episode. We might talk a bit more about that. But yeah, it is very powerful in stimulating our memories and bringing back, you know, special occasions. Smell is probably one of the strongest of our senses in actual fact. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there's been countless times when I've, you know, experienced a smell and it's taken me right back to childhood. You know, it might be a roast or,
Yeah.
you know, green,
Absolutely.
you know, cut grass or something like that. So yeah, I hear you on that one. So can you tell us a little bit more about Ageless Grace and what, you know, what that's about?
Yeah, sure. So Ageless Grace So we call it is a brain health exercise program. So we're moving the body and we're also working the brain in all of the exercises. It consists of 21 what we call tools. So different, you know, focusing on different areas of the body or different parts of the brain. What we work on is the 5 primary functions of the brain. So there's strategic planning, which is, you know, sort of how you get from A to B to C. Memory and recall, so that, you know, the more we can, it's not just about remembering things, it's about recalling how we felt, you know, with those at those times, because we'll usually draw on our happy memories, and that's good for us. Analytical thinking is another one. You know, I think children do a lot of that. Actually, kinesthetic learning is another one. So children do a lot, you know, they learn kinesthetically, and that's what we do in Ageless Grace as well, is kinesthetic. So you're actually learning by doing. So we might do something like, you know, say we pretend to play the guitar, for instance. Now think about it, let's play it on the other side. And so that really challenges the brain. Well, hang on a minute, you know, what have I got to do? Where do I put my hands? How do they move? So learning by doing, and we're just using the imagination. But in actual fact, they know that the brain can't tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So I've actually had people who have been in wheelchairs and done Ageless Grace. People who have had strokes can't move one side of their body. So I just say to them, all right, we're going to do it on the right-hand side. Close your eyes and just picture yourself doing it and imagine it. And the brain actually doesn't know the difference. Wow. I've had a man in a wheelchair who actually could, after, you know, quite a number of sessions of Ageless Grace, was just getting the slightest movement that he hadn't had before. So,
wow,
you know, we can trick the brain. It's quite easy to trick the brain. Yeah. So yeah, that's what's basically involved with Ageless Grace, is working those 5 areas of the brain. I think I missed creativity and imagination. So imagination is a big part of what we do in Ageless Grace, really. You know, we try and create stories, and I get participants in the class eventually when they've been coming for a while and they know, you know, what it's about, they'll start coming up with ideas themselves, you know, coming up with, oh, why don't we, you know, fly a hot air balloon today, and you've got to think about, you know, how would you do it? How does it start? What's the process? Yeah. So,
yeah, and I guess I can understand that when I think about how everything that we create in the world was thought about before. So this building that I'm in at the moment was a thought before it was actually came into being.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. That's exactly right.
Yeah. And so I remember you telling me that these exercises that you do, a lot of them or most of them are sitting down, is that right? Or
always seated.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So none of our exercises are done off the chair. It's everything is done seated. So it creates a level playing field. Anyone then can participate. So even if, you know, we've got people that don't normally exercise, but we can still get them moving in a chair. And in actual fact, doing some things can be more challenging if you have to sit down and do it than if you stood up and do it. You know, if we might play tennis or football or something in that chair, and you've actually got to think, well, actually, how do I do that sitting down? How do I, you know, kick a ball? How do I run? How do I row a boat or whatever it might be? It can be more difficult doing it while you're seated. So again, all of this is stimulating our neurons and creating these new neural pathways, which is so good for our brain.
Yeah, because I remember like years ago, they believed that your brain stopped kind of like learning new things or whatever at age 29 or something like that. I don't know, I'm just picking an arbitrary number, but, you know, at our brain still create synapses and still create neurons right until we die.
Right until the day we die, we can continue. That's exactly right.
Learning, which is so good.
We've come a very long way in neuroscience in the last 20 odd years. you know, that it really did turn a corner where they discovered that the brain wasn't a finite thing, that it can keep developing. So it's fantastic. It's great to know as we get older.
Yeah, totally.
Yep, we can keep working at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said before, ageless grace is for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. So
most definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is really
I mean,
good.
it is typically more of an older audience because, purely because I guess a lot of young people will exercise, physically they're more capable, but for whatever reason, there may be people, even young people that can't get up and get moving, and so we can still have them moving. I actually love running Ageless Grace with that 30 to 40-year-old age group because they have a ball. They have an absolute ball. They love doing it. Another part of Ageless Grace is the fact that it's so much fun. We really get carried away with our imaginations at time, and we can have a really good laugh while we're doing it. So, and laughter's good medicine too, right?
Oh, totally. I've got a whole nother story about laughter being the best medicine. So yeah, I totally agree with you there. And do you kind of like, when you get together with a group of people, do you have a, do you sort of like gather information to be able to use in other sessions? So for example, if these 30 to 40-year-olds came up with these like wild ideas and whatever, do you, if you're struggling with a group that can't come up with some ideas, do you throw some of those in there?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why once people get familiar and comfortable with the program and with the other participants, why, I sort of get them contributing as well. I mean, one of the exercises that we do, which is called Front Row Orchestra, where we play instruments. And I'll often say, well, who I start to go blank. Sometimes my brain just won't work, and I'll go blank and say, well, who's got an instrument? What are we going to play next? So the more I can get, more other people can contribute, the better it is for them as well as me, because we want them. I don't want to do all the thinking for everybody.
That's right.
And the thing with Ageless Grace is it's not choreographed. So, a trainer or an educator can go in and run a class and not have done any preparation. We could just put on a playlist of songs, and just whatever's coming out of your brain at the time is sufficient, as long as we know what the main areas of the body and the brain are that we're meant to be focused on for the exercise. Right. We can do anything. There's no limit. Yeah.
Wow, it sounds amazing. Just when you were talking about the having an orchestra, I could just imagine like a whole bunch of people coming together and like thinking about what instrument they were going to play. And I love it.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, like I say, with your creativity and imagination, we can, some days I say, right, we can play guitar behind our back, behind our, behind our head, under our feet, we can do it. We can play guitars with our feet.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We're the most talented musicians in the world. So.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun. So
it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. So Vicki, how can people connect with you?
So my Facebook, my website are Vicki Doolan Healthy Aging.
Uh-huh.
So I'm found under...
I'll pop that below as well.
I'll pop that down below. Yeah, good. Yeah. And also for Ageless Grace in particular, we have Ageless Grace Australasia Facebook page. Mm-hmm. And that as well is a good place to go if it's particularly Ageless Grace that that people are looking for. My Healthy Aging page has a big variety of things, so I'll have juicing and all sorts of other information on there. But Ageless Grace is specifically Ageless Grace. So at the moment, while we're all in isolation, we have people, we have one trainer each day of the week doing a 10-minute Ageless Grace session. So it's a great opportunity to get on there and
Try it out. Yeah.
and see what it's like. The only problem
Okay.
with it is that we can't use great music. We're just having to use copyright, royalty-free music. So, you know, one of the things that people love about the classes, coming to the classes or attending them, is that, you know, we just play some great music.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So you're not allowed to do that with the whole.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you
Gotcha.
can't.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but it's a good, you know, good opportunity just to get on there and get a feel of what it's like. So the 6 trainers that we have in Australia, just before we all got put into isolation, we got together for a weekend and did a whole weekend of filming. So we're currently in the process of putting the program together for people to do at home every day. So it'll just be a subscription basis, and they'll be able to go on and do their 10 minutes a day with a trainer, or do a whole class.
Yeah.
So that's not far off being completed.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I am so excited about hearing all the other aspects of what you do, because I love juicing and I love oils. So I'm really excited about having you on the show to talk about those. What else do we need to talk about? Let me just have here. So have we talked about in what ways it can benefit the brain? Did we cover that?
Well, I think it's cognition that we're really focusing on with the brain. You know, just keeping that brain healthy, keeping those new neural pathways connected, and making, you know, new synapses, as you say. And then balance. Balance is a big part of it, because as we grow older, balance is such an issue. And you know, everybody has falls throughout their lives, but as we get older, the consequences can be more serious. So balance is a big thing with ageless grace. We do one of the exercises, you know, people don't realize, I mean, if you just did ageless grace, you wouldn't really understand exactly what we're achieving as we're doing each of the exercises. And we do one that is really good for balance, but you would have no idea. And all we do is we count to 8 or 4 on one side, and then we switch it and count to 8 or 4 on the other side. But I throw in different things, like, you know, maybe clap on 5 or touch your head on 8, or, you know, and keeping it moving. And that actually is building that muscle that helps us balance. It's that respond, react and recover muscle, you know, being able to, okay, we're about to have a fall, so we've got to respond, we've got to quickly react, and then we recover ourselves. So it's quite surprising. You know, just looking at the program, you'd think, oh, sometimes you might think, what are they doing that for? But in actual fact, it's amazing how it's building different muscles, and balance is a big focus with ageless grace.
Totally. What I was going to ask you, so how does the program run? Is it a series of like a number of sessions, or, you know, like how's it run?
The studies that have been done have actually shown that 10 minutes of ageless grace a day is all we need.
Wow, it's not much.
So it's not much at all. In an ideal world, if you were to do 10 minutes a day and then 1 or 2 classes a week of, say, 30 minutes, that would be the best thing you could possibly do for your brain. That's basically it. If you can attend a class or do a class online, that's 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and then just do your little bits of 10 minutes a day, you're on a winner.
Yeah. And so where can people find out, you know, like, I know that you've got your Facebook page, but does that also show?
So there's also the agelessgrace.com.au, which is the Australian Ageless Grace website, and all the information that anyone could possibly want to know is on there. That's where you can contact me or contact the other trainers, see what courses, what workshops are coming up, where classes are being held. We're always doing educator training. You know, there's always room for more educators, because there are so many, it's an aging population.
Totally. Well, I was
So,
looking up
yeah.
the information, and it said that at the moment there's almost 500,000 people who have dementia, and I imagine that figure, if you add Alzheimer's to that, that would be higher as well. But 250 people a day are being added to that number.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's a big problem.
Yes. Yeah. Alzheimer's is a form of dementia. So when they talk about 250 people a day, that does include
that,
Alzheimer's disease,
right?
because it's actually the number one cause of dementia is Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
It accounts for about 60% of that figure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if people get onto that website that you've just said, they can find out where the classes are. Do you actually do, like if I got a group of friends together or whatever, could I get you to come over and like do some fun stuff with that? Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Here at so I'm on the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah.
On a 10-acre property. So my partner actually built a new shed, and I have a room there where we do classes. So I actually have outside of isolation, I have busloads being brought here.
Cool.
And we do, it's great. It's really great. And we do classes together. And then my partner's really into the 60s. So he built this little 60s cafe in his shed, and everyone hangs around and has a morning tea in the 60s cafe. So it's a lot of fun.
God,
it's very
that is
social.
So cool. I love
it's beautiful.
that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So if we got a group together, we could come up there and have a session and have
for sure.
Have some morning tea in the cafe, 60s cafe. I love it.
Yep, absolutely. Or a group, we can do an online, if groups are, especially particularly in the western areas of the country, they don't have access to a lot of these things. So that's the beauty of online, isn't it? We can do anything now. So we can do an online class with a little group in Chinchilla or Goondiwindi or wherever.
Perfect. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that information and what you're doing. I think it's really, we really need it at the moment because of what's happening in terms of aging. There are more and more people with dementia and Alzheimer's, and we want to prevent it, and we also want to support people who have it already, like our parents, or most of us know somebody that's got dementia, or know somebody that knows somebody that's got dementia. So
absolutely,
it's good to have those kind of skills to reduce the impact, I guess.
And in actual fact, one of the things we also offer is a seminar. So it's about 3.5 to 4 hours long, and if someone, say you've got a loved one who has dementia, you can do the seminar and you can know enough in that time that you can be doing Ageless Grace with your loved one, just on a one-to-one basis.
Perfect.
It's valuable to do. I've done a lot with people with dementia, and honestly, it's just, if nothing else, if they're not going to, if we can't reverse the dementia, but we can make memories, we can create we can have fun with them, we can have good times with them, and that's what it's about when someone is living with dementia. And again, I could go into a whole nother session about that, but
we will.
It's just beautiful to make connections, and I can explain how the brain works, and why we might not think, they might not know us, they may not know, remember our names or who we are, or be able to communicate in that respect, but they always remember how we make them feel.
Totally. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We are definitely going to have you on the show again, because you've got so much valuable information, and I know me, for one, I don't want to get dementia, and I want to do everything that I can to keep my brain active. And so thank you so much for sharing all of that, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Thanks for having me.
You're very, very welcome.